Hey everybody, welcome to Brain Thrive Kitchen. I am going to show you one of my favorite recipes today, super simple and fast. And it really helps us work on omega-3 levels and increasing our magnesium levels naturally from our food. Those are, of course, the first two steps in healing the brain. So first step, turn on your burner to about medium. We are going to make fish tacos. So we're going to cook the fish in here, make a slaw, make some beans, and then put it all together and have a super quick dinner. So I'm going to use olive oil in the pan for the fish. I'm not going to cook it at really high heat, so it doesn't matter too much. Of course, you don't want to use olive oil for cooking at really high temperatures because it gets converted into what are these glycosylated end products. What that means is that they're bad for you. They're sort of the precursors of carcinogens and stuff like that. So you don't ever want to take olive oil up past the smoke point, which just means when you see smoke coming out of your pan, literally, you want to keep the temperature kind of low. Fish obviously does not require a super high temperature, so we are totally fine cooking fish in olive oil, and then that gives us the advantage of the high omega-3s in the olive oil. So to spice the fish, I like to do a spicy little seasoning. This is just a chipotle chili powder. Now you could use anything you happen to have at home. If you have a regular chili powder, or if you just have some paprika, that's going to taste good too. I just like a little bit of spice on the fish because it can be sort of boring. And then we're going to add some salt, just enough to sort of cover the top like this. See what I'm saying? Now I'm going to do that on both sides. Put a little chili powder on here and a little more salt. All right, that's it. Super easy. This is cod that I'm using, and it's one of my favorite fish to make fish tacos with for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's low in mercury, and so many of us have high levels of mercury from our food, from our fillings. So we want to make sure we're using low mercury fish. And it's also super high in omega-3s. It's one of the better ones for omega-3s. So all we do, pop that in there. And that's only going to take a couple minutes to cook because fish is super fast. So we'll set that aside. Now, for our slaw, I chopped up ahead of time some red cabbage and onions. Now, let's talk about detox for a minute. This is going to help us detox in two ways. So cruciferous vegetables and also things like garlic and onions and shallots do something really, really important in our body. So let's just review what cruciferous is for a minute. Cabbage is in all its form. And I love the purple cabbage because it's just giving me an extra dose of polyphenols, right? Polyphenols are the stuff that gives plants their color, and they're good for you. Short story. So cruciferous vegetables are broccoli and cauliflower. We're sort of used to thinking about those two, but also Brussels sprouts, cabbage in all the colors, and kale. So all of those cruciferous vegetables and also onions and garlic do something really important in the body. So we'll come back to that. It is that it helps combine glutathione with toxins in your body. So glutathione is the most important detox chemical in our body. And what your body does is it links it to toxins and then gets rid of it through the GI tract. That's pretty important, right? So all of the toxins that come into our body can get bound up to glutathione to be eliminated through our GI tract. It's a lot of work for our body to do all of that. And we also have a lot more chemicals in our world than we used to. So it's really, really important that we give our body the food nutrients to sort of ramp up those detox pathways. So of course, starting the process of healing the brain means giving your brain more omega-3s and more magnesium, both in food and in supplement form. So probably most of you are doing that. And then the next step is to prepare the gut for detox and then to detox to actually start getting rid of chemicals. So this is the kind of thing that's a part of the actual detox phase. So I figured we might as well bring that in. So I've got the chopped up cabbage and red onions in here, and I'm going to add some carrots. Just a little bit more nutrition, super easy. These are just organic, pre-shredded carrots, and we are just going to mix those up. And then to make the slaw, I use this super easy mix. So this is actually made from cashews, and I swear to you, this stuff tastes like ranch dressing. So it's ground up cashews, apple cider vinegar, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of salt if you didn't use cashews that already have salt on them. Blend it all up, put in a little bit of parsley or some kind of green, and it's amazing. So this dip tastes a lot like ranch dressing. You can keep it in your fridge in sort of a thicker form, just add a little bit less water, and then it turns into a vegetable dip. You can make it a little bit thinner and turn it into salad dressing, or you can put it on your cabbage and turn it into kind of like a slaw dressing to put on your tacos. I'll drop the precise recipe for this below the video, but it is approximately 1 cup of cashews to 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then honestly, you can just sort of play with the onion powder, the garlic powder, the saltiness, again, depending on whether or not you had salt in your cashews. You know, if you're using raw cashews, that tastes one way. If you're using roasted cashews or salted cashews, that tastes a whole other way. And you're not going to need any extra salt on there. So, all right, there we go. We've got our slaw. So yummy. You can just make this stuff like once every week or two and keep it around and use it on everything. You can put it on sandwiches because it kind of tastes like ranch. It's amazing. All right. The next thing we're going to do is heat up some organic black beans. Beans are actually an incredible source of fiber, and fiber is one of the main things that we need to improve the health of our gut. So hang on, let me pop this in. Don't forget your saran wrap or something over the top. There we go. So here's why fiber is important for gut health. So the good bacteria in your gut eat fiber. That's literally what they need. That's what they need for proper nutrition. So we want the good bacteria in our gut to be happy because they make a mucus that lines the inside of our intestines. Okay, so happy gut bacteria help make this mucosal lining. Why is that important? That is important because that lining is one cell thick, one itty bitty tiny little cell separates all this stuff in your intestines from your bloodstream. That's a really important cell. That cell needs a mucus lining on top of it in order to protect it. And the healthy bacteria in your gut make that lining. So by including the beans in this meal, you are improving the lining of your gut. So now we're working on brain health and gut health all in the same meal. Make sense? So we will let that cook. Let's take a minute and go look at our fish. I'm going to flip this and show it to you. Okay, and you can see that it's brown on the edges and it's starting to get flaky. Fish is done when it gets flaky. Fish is so easy to cook. You can't really underdo it or overdo it. Now, the other thing we are going to work on is our tortillas. So we're going to use almond flour tortillas here tonight. These are amazing for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're uncooked. So you cook them right here and they taste so fresh and delicious. It's awesome. Second, of course, they're gluten-free. Third, almonds are high in magnesium. So we're adding a little bit more natural magnesium here to our dinner. So I'm going to let that pan heat up pretty high, and then you basically just cook them like 1 minute on either side. All right. The last thing we're going to add to our meal, avocados. There is probably not a better food for nutrition for the brain than avocados. So they are high in healthy fats, right? We all know that our brain runs absolutely fine on fats. It does not need glucose every couple hours. Common myth, it'll use glucose if it's there, but your brain runs absolutely fine on fat derivatives and ketones. And so we want to give the brain some healthy fats. Avocados also have magnesium. So yay, love that. Avocados also contain glutathione, like actual glutathione, same stuff as what your body makes. And you can get it in food form from the avocados. So all you do is just kind of chop it up into little pieces there right inside the container. You don't have to be too precise about it unless your family is super picky. I think most people, it just doesn't matter. Pop some of that in there. Now I'm going to put a little bit of lime on this because it helps keep it from getting brown. And of course, lime always tastes good with tacos. So we're going to throw that in. So our fish is getting done here. I'm going to take this out. So that's been on for maybe 5 minutes or so, and see how it flakes really easily. That means your fish is done. So we are going to bump up our nutrition here by throwing some spinach into the pan. Spinach, of course, is high in magnesium. So we're going to pop that on there real low. Spinach just disappears when you put it into a pan. So we are going to put that on there, let that cook down. So now just for flavor, mostly, although I actually really do like cilantro, we are going to add some cilantro. Now, cilantro is anti-inflammatory in its own right. So of course, that's a helpful property in an herb for anything that we're doing having to do with migraine, right? So we just chop up a little bit of that, add it to our avocado, and we are good to go. So I'm going to check on this. Let me show you this. Oh. The spinach has kind of wilted down to nothing. So we just pop that on top of our fish, and we're going to kind of mix it up. Ooh, got some action here today. We're just going to kind of combine the fish and the spinach, just kind of go like this, and then people can sort of put on their taco whatever they want. So there we go. Got our hot things there, cold things here, another hot thing in our beans. And then let's move back to our tortillas. So the tortillas are made of almond flour. So they're gluten-free. They are uncooked. They taste so amazing when you cook them at home. Love these things. And so we'll pop a couple of those on here, and let me grab a plate. We are exposed to lots and lots of toxins in our world, right? The EPA estimates that there are 85,000 potentially dangerous toxins that have come into the world in the past 100 years. A lot of those are getting into our bodies, and our bodies are equipped to deal with toxins, not particularly great at dealing with it in the volume that we are now exposed to them. So one of the most helpful things we can do to get rid of them is to ramp up our body's own natural detox system. So our body has several. The most important is glutathione. Glutathione is a chemical that's inside every cell in your body. And what it does is your body links the glutathione molecule to whatever toxin it is. Let's say it's a pesticide or a plastic or whatever that your body has come into your body. Your body links the glutathione to the toxin, and you get rid of it through your gut, through your poop. So many people with migraine have abnormalities right here connecting the glutathione to the toxin. It's called the glutathione S transferase gene, and it's a very common genetic problem in people who have migraines. So it's particularly important for us to try to help this linking process as much as we can. And that's where cruciferous vegetables help us. So that is broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and kale. Those are the 5 most powerful things to help your body link the glutathione to the toxin and then get rid of it naturally. Cool, right? What we're looking for on these guys, see how they've kind of got little bubbles in the surface? That means it's done. So we are going to take these guys off and make our meal. So we put a little bit of fish and spinach on, and then we add a little bit of slaw. Well, here, let me do both of these at the same time. And so then we just add a little bit of the slaw on top. And then, whoops, a couple of these avocados with a little cilantro, because avocados contain glutathione, like actual glutathione is just in avocados naturally. Just another reason they're such amazing food. And then we put a little bit of beans on the side. Ta-da! Brain healthy, gut healthy dinner in about a million different ways. We've packed so much nutrition and intelligence into this meal, and it took all of 20 minutes. Can't argue with that, right?